What's going on, you guys? It is Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. We're staring down the weekend, and man, one hell of a week it's been. I don't know about you guys, but I am emotionally, physically, mentally exhausted from just everything that's been going on. More than anything, if you haven't yet, take the chance to just quiet down, distance yourself from social media, do whatever you need to do to separate yourself from all of the social tensions, from like quarantine and social injustice and everything that's been going on with the CrossFit brand and all that stuff and Greg Glassman and whatever. When it comes time to work out, that's not important. Your health is far beyond a workout. Your health has everything and more to do with, mental health, all that sort of stuff. So make sure as we're going through this season, as we get closer to being able to do classes again, which are coming next Monday, and they will be a little different than normal classes. They'll be outside. It'll be all that sort of stuff. It's weather dependent. There's all kinds of other factors. That's beside the point. I'm excited to see your faces. Our coaches are excited to see your faces. I know you guys are excited to get back in the gym, even if we're not really in the gym, but it's a step. So even with everything that's going on, we're still trending towards getting right back to doing the things that we love to do and can't wait to do it together again. With that, give yourself a chance. Maybe that workout is the only time to distance yourself from everything else that's going on. Crank up some music, put on some headphones, do whatever you need to do. And for the amount of time that you're warming up, working out, doing all that stuff, just think about the next rep. Don't think about, what Tom, Dick, and Harry are saying on social and what's going on Instagram or Facebook or anything else like that. Just focus on you. If that's the only time of the day that you do that, do that. So I want to turn our attention to the board. Let's talk a little bit about what we're getting ourselves into. Now, we've been absolutely demolishing our legs this week. My legs are super sore. I'm sure yours are too. What is today? Friday. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Yeah. Wednesday's workout was awful. That 21-15-9 of, some power cleans and some thrusters and some push jerks, and some front squats. That one was really, really hard. And yes, I know a lot of people scaled the weight back. It wasn't programmed with the intention that everyone would do 135 pounds or 95 pounds. It was programmed with the intention that it should be challenging. This should be a longer time domain workout. So in the fact that we're probably still feeling that one, today's focus is going to be a lot more upper body. And it's going to primarily be written with a kettlebell in mind, but we can use a dumbbell, and I'll explain that. Even if some swings with a dumbbell are a little bit weird. So let's look at the board and talk about what we're getting ourselves into. Today is going to be a shorter time domain than some of the other workouts we've done this week. We are doing a 14-minute AMRAP. Starts off with 10 bent over rows with a 53-pound kettlebell on the right side, then 10 bent over rows on the left side. Then we're doing 10 Russian kettlebell swings, and then straight into, we've already snatched this week. We are doing 5 kettlebell snatches on the right side, 5 kettlebell snatches on the left side. Obviously, with it being an AMRAP, you're going through that as many times as you can before time runs out. So, rounds and reps is your score. Let's talk a little bit about standards. I'll start off by demoing with a kettlebell, and then I'll show you the same movements with a dumbbell based on what equipment you might have at home. This can also easily be done with a backpack if you don't have either and you still have that trusty backpack. And I guess technically, a barbell, I'd say try to stay away from a barbell on this one. If you want to do some variation of it with a bar, you can. Either way, use what you've got. So let's talk a little bit about that kettlebell first. So looking at our bent over row, I'm starting on my right side. I'm going to have the kettlebell pretty much touch the ground every rep. For me, based on where I am, if I have a bench or something and you want to put a leg up and do it like old school bodybuilding type bent over rows, that's okay. But what we're shooting for is I want to be able to get my back, keep it nice and neutral, but try to get myself as close to parallel to the floor as possible. And from this position, I'm not rotating my shoulders. I'm not rotating my upper body while this is happening. My goal is to keep my chest square, my shoulders square, and allow that retraction to happen from my lats without getting a whole bunch of that rotational stuff going on in the midline. So square shoulders, square chest, nice and flat back, and I'm gonna row that kettlebell up until my hand hits my chest, and then right back down to extension. So really working on not having that rotation all the way up, all the way back down to full extension on every rep. Switch sides to my left side and do the same thing with bent over rows on my left side. From there, going to a Russian kettlebell swing. Russian meaning I'm going to eye level. I'm not going all the way up overhead. So this isn't American kettlebell swings that you would normally see when you see kettlebell swings on the board. But this being a hip-driven movement, I want you to think about jumping that kettlebell up and out. A really inappropriate way of saying this is make a baby with the kettlebell. Try to throw that kettlebell forward as far as you can, obviously not letting it go, and let that momentum carry it up. So aggressive with the hips, really squeezing my butt, and bringing that kettlebell up to eye level and back down. I've got 10 swings, and then straight into my kettlebell snatch. I'm going to switch. Notice that transition from the swing, changing my arms, and then I'm locking out. So when we talk about the kettlebell snatch, a really important thing with the snatch is that turnover. A lot of times you see people get those bruises on their forearms when that bell turns over and then whacks you in the forearm over and over and over again. That means you're not punching up hard enough or fast enough. If I'm lazy on the turnover, I'm gonna get bruises. If I'm not lazy and I'm sending it up and then aggressively punching up with it, it's actually gonna lessen how much that kettlebell comes back and hits me in the arm. So 5 on my right side, and then switching to my left, 5 on my left side, and then I start over with those bent over rows. Now this is, while it is a short time domain for the workout, 14 minutes is a long time to be doing these. Why? You can cycle these reps fairly fast. So to move consistently, be thinking about your pacing. Don't start out like a bat out of hell and blow up on your second round. Try to move more methodically. Don't go too slow. If anything, start off at like between 70, 75% maybe. And then as you get more comfortable, if you want to push the pace then step it up. Start to speed up when you've got 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left to try to crank out those last few more reps that you can before the clock runs out. Now, if I don't have a kettlebell and prescribed weight that I didn't mention, 53 pounds for guys, 35 pounds for gals, obviously use what you have. If all you have is a 35-pound kettlebell, go for it. If all you have is a 15-pound kettlebell, go for it. If all you have is a 50-pound dumbbell, I'm gonna explain that. So, the bent over rows and the snatch, instead of it going from the hip like you would with a kettlebell, we're just gonna do dumbbell snatches, which I know we've already done that this week on Tuesday, but it's only 5 reps each side. We're really trying to open those hips and have a little bit of muscle redundancy between kettlebell swing, kettlebell snatch. So that is muscle redundancy, even though the finish position is different from here to here. So, my rows with the dumbbell, they don't necessarily have to touch the ground every time, but same position, and I'm pulling up and bringing that dumbbell up to my chest. For the swings, I find with a larger dumbbell, smaller dumbbells are easier to swing. Not that 50 pounds is that big, but it's awkward enough. I find that grabbing one head of the dumbbell with both my hands, now this means if my grip is tired, break it up. Don't drop a 50-pound dumbbell on your toe. Don't do that. Don't throw it through your wall. Don't do that. It's not worth it. But from here, I'm going to widen my legs just a little more than I would with a kettlebell and treat it exactly the same. Hinge at the hips and explode with my hips and try to bring that dumbbell as close to eye level as I can while mimicking the same thing, but still, I'm working that posterior chain. I'm focusing on that open of my hips and squeezing my butt to do the same sort of movement, even if it's still a little awkward compared to a kettlebell with a handle on it. So you can try holding on to the dumbbell with both hands and swinging this way And I find that still to be a little more awkward than just holding one head. But play around with it a little bit while you're warming up. Figure out what's more comfortable. Go with what's more comfortable. And then for the snatch, if I'm using a dumbbell, both heads start on the ground. I'm gonna pick it up and big jump. And then with that dumbbell overhead, I can switch. No, we're not gonna switch on the way down. We're doing all right, then all left. So 5 reps on my right side. Let's say that was 5. Switch to my left. 5 on that side. Start back over with the bent over rows. So today's kind of a little bit of a bro sesh, but mostly upper body focused. Shoulders are definitely gonna feel it. Lats are definitely gonna feel it. But the idea here is we're giving our legs, that lower body, a little bit of a break before we tear into them again tomorrow on Saturday. So that is what we're getting ourselves into. I, for one thing, this is gonna be a great time. May not think that 7 minutes into it, but I'll be really glad when it's over and thankful that I put in the work, was breathing hard, was sweating, and more than anything, again, looking forward to seeing all of you guys starting next week. So, yeah, that's it. Super simple today. Use what you got. Have a good time with it. Can't wait to see you all over the weekend and next week with classes. It's gonna be a good time today. Let's get after it.